Hi, I'm Rick Bell, the TheEVMicGuy. Thanks for watching. Reading through our viewer mail, I came across this one from Kevin in Cleveland, Ohio. Kevin writes, "Hey Rick, thanks for the great programs. I'm really learning a lot. I'm thinking about buying an RE320 for my studio and live shows. My friend has an RE20 and says that the 320 is just a different color with different tone controls. Can you help me understand the differences?" Sure, Kevin, I'll be glad to. That's a great question, and thanks so much for asking. It's understandable how your friend would make that assumption. At a glance, the two do look similar. But the only things they really have in common is that they both use the same body form factor, and they both deploy EV's exclusive variable D proximity control. But that's where the common elements end. First, let's take a look at how the capsules vary. Here I have the capsules from each, the RE20 and the RE320. As you can see, they're quite different. The RE320 uses the same capsule design as in the RE27ND. Each have variable D phase ports. The RE20s are external tubes, and the RE320s are integrated into the capsule structure. The RE20 uses a standard Gauss magnet to create its energy, and the RE320 uses a neodymium magnet to create its voltage. So the RE320 will have a brighter and higher output. The RE20 sensitivity is 1.5 millivolts per Pascal, and the RE320's is 2.5 millivolts. And they both have humbucking coils to eliminate EMI. The RE20's is an enclosed bobbin wire directly below the element, and the RE320's is an exposed coil wire on the outside of the capsule. And to achieve its brighter top end, the RE320 also contains this extra resonator dome, which collects and excites HF around 9K. And what makes the RE320's capsule differ from the RE27's is this new diaphragm. Its geometry and low-mass, high-velocity mylar were engineered for exceptionally fast transient response and vivid detail. So those are the differences in the capsules. Now let's have a close look at the switching differences. The RE20 contains a dual position switch for filtering. In the left-hand position, the mic is flat from 80 Hz up to 6K with a broad 2.5 dB rise between 6K and 14K and is balanced out with a minus 3 dB slope between 80 Hz down to 45 Hz. The right-hand position engages a bass tilt curve throwing 4.5 dB of attenuation from 400 Hz down to 100 Hz. The RE320 switching effectively creates two different mics with completely different personalities. In the right-hand position, the mic is flat from 45 Hz up to 2900 Hz with a smoothing dip at 3200. From there, there's a substantial HF rise beginning at 4K, extending on out to 18K for presence. The left-hand switch engages a curve designed for kick drums, but it's also effective for other uses as well. In this setting, the mic has an unsurpassed tight low end reaching down to 30 Hz with a warming boost between 100 and 150 Hz. There's a 4.5 dB low-mid dip centered at 380 to tighten up your kick drum sound. From there, it flattens out with an additional presence peak at 2800, 4K, and 5K. Then the HF extends on out to 18K. So that's how the specs compare on paper. Now I'd like to show you how they compare in sound. Okay, I've got the mic set up and ready for comparison. I do want to mention that because the RE320's output is hotter than the RE20's, I've got the microphone preamps balanced on the console so that the gains are going to be relatively close. The other thing I want to mention is that as we go through this comparison, I'm going to mute my body mic so that that sound doesn't get mixed in with the sound of the mic we're listening to. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the RE20 first. All right, here's the RE20. It's a classic sound that we've been hearing for a long time on the radio, and I've done a in-depth on the RE20 in another program, and feel free to look at that one as well. It'll help you out. So this is the RE20. It's got proximity control called variable D, and I've got it set in a flat position. Now with the variable D control, I can move around the mic and not suffer the consequences of proximity effect. I can get right up on the mic, get farther away, and I can move around the mic freely and not hear a tremendous difference in tone and gain. Now I'm going to engage that filter, and this filter takes 4.5 dB. It's a bass tilt from 400 down to 100 Hertz. So you hear what that sounds like. Variable D is still happening. We've got proximity control, although we're just attenuating by 4.5 dB, everything from 400 down to 100. So that's the RE20. I'm going to put it back in its flat position. And I'm going to go ahead and go over to the RE320 and give you an idea what it sounds like. So now I've got the RE320 queued up, and you're going to notice that it's brighter right off the bat. It is a hotter microphone. It's got the RE27 element in it with a different diaphragm, and it's brighter and more articulate. You're going to hear a lot more top end, and I'm going to go ahead and move around the mic. You hear that the variable D control gives me a lot of extended working distance that you normally would have with a variable D mic. Now I'm going to go ahead and engage that kick drum curve, which we have learned that a lot of broadcasters are liking on particular voice. So here's the RE320 with the kick drum curve. Remember, it's got a 4.5 dB dip at about 380 hertz. So this is the RE320 with the kick drum curve engaged on a voice. Variable D is still happening. I can move freely around the mic, but you heard that it probably thinned out my voice in that mid-range where, well, for a kick drum at 380, that's where we usually want to dip it out anyway. So this is the RE320. I'm going to go ahead and flatten it out again. Here's the RE320 in a flat position, and here's the RE20 in a flat position. So that gives you an idea how these mics sound in comparison on voice. So there you are, Kevin. The two mics are substantially different. The RE320 will be brighter and more powerful with a faster transient response and more vivid detail, making it ideal for music production, and the RE20 will be smoother and warmer. And the RE320 also has that handy kick drum setting for a quick kick drum sound with little or no additional EQing needed. Let's also not forget that both the RE20 and RE320 are very versatile mics. In fact, all of the Electro-Voice variable D mics are excellent choices for studio and live sound applications. Thanks again for your question. So that's it for this show, folks. Thanks for tuning in. This is Rick Belt, the EV Mic Guy. See you next time.